Hi, I'm John Reza. Welcome to Plazadelibros. We bring the world to the Latino community and the Latino community to the world. Today's Monday morning, and I hope you'll join us on this trip. Today is a very busy day for us, and we're going out to LA. We're going to drop off the kids first and then head back to the store and sell lots. Today's my son Lucas's share day at preschool. Today he's going to be focusing on the book Fiesta by Pat Mora, a great book about bringing the Mexican culture of Dia de los Niños to the classroom and to books. Pat Mora has tied these things together and has worked for the last 12 years making a holiday out of it. So this book has a lot of great ideas on how to promote that in libraries, stores, homes, and schools. Luckily we got this book signed. Pat was a guest of ours at the Latino Book and Family Festival, and we got it dedicated to my children, to Lucas and Marisol. Enjoy. Pat Mora, 2009. Just finished dropping off Marisol and Lucas at preschool. Now it's time to head out to drop off some books at my favorite high school in all of Los Angeles, Los Angeles School of Global Studies. Very, very strong school. They use a lot of culturally relevant books for learning and to get the kids not just interested in reading, but having that long-term love of learning. So let's take a look at the GPS and try and find out what our best route is. Alrighty. It looks like we're going to have some traffic in downtown, but that's about it. So we're on our way. Let's roll. We made it to downtown LA, relatively unscathed. A little bit of traffic there in the Boyle Heights area, but I've learned my way around and got off at the 4th Street Bridge, headed over the historic bridge through Little Tokyo and across historic downtown, and here we are. Okay, ready? We're here with Christian Quintero, the teacher at Global Studies, who I've been working with for the last 3 years, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the books that he selected for his class, and maybe talk a little bit about your class.
All right. First, I'll tell a little bit about myself. I'm a native of Los Angeles, from El Monte, California. Native of Los Angeles County. And my dream's always been to teach high school in this area. My father actually, when he first came to this country, took English classes over at Belmont, which is about a few blocks away from here. My high school career was in El Monte. Then for university, I went for 2 years to DePaul University in Indiana.
Not University of Michigan, like I previously said.
Not University of Michigan, DePaul University.
My bad.
And I transferred from there to the London School of Economics in England. I wanted to have a more international feel and have more diversity in the student body, so I finished my education there. From there, I went to China for 4 years to teach English as a foreign language before I started my teaching career here in the United States. John knows me from 9th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. This is the first year that I get to repeat the same grade. I taught the 12th grade political studies last year, and I'm again teaching 12th grade political studies this year. And John's here today because he's delivering books for our next project. Our next project is Investigation of Democracy. We have many students from Central America as our student body, and we thought, what a shame that oftentimes they don't get to investigate their own countries or their native countries or the countries that their parents came from. So we thought this would be a great way to analyze democracy through the lens of a different country, and then maybe even compare it to the United States and see if the United States is democratic at all. And so the 4 Latin American countries we're looking at is Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. So we got literature from authors from each of those places. So The Inhabited Woman is an author of Nicaragua. She's this book talks a little bit about the elements of mysticism, but also the elements of class culture. This woman gets inhabited by an indigenous woman from Nicaragua, and really helps build this elitist person into understanding the consciousness of the working poor. I, Rigoberto Menchú, from Rigoberto Menchú, is a Guatemalan book, and it's an autobiography that has a little bit of controversy. There's some critique on it about how this compilation of books is actually a compilation of stories that she's had through interviews, and so discussing with the students about that controversy. Is this really her story, or is she telling a generic story to really get interest into the indigenous plight? That's one of the discussions we'll have. One Day of Life is by a Salvadorian author, and it does a lot of flashbacks talking about the life circumstances of an individual and what has transpired in those decisions. And then the fourth book is Don't Be Afraid, Gringo, and that's Honduras. And I'll show you that later. John will show you that later.
I'll show you the cover later. I forgot it. It's in my car.
And so one of the beauties of that is that three of the books are close to nonfiction. The Inhabited Woman is fiction, but it also kind of tells a story of the political plight that was going on in Nicaragua. So we want the students to see what democracy looks like through the eyes of these authors as they investigate the country a little further. So the big question is, what is democracy, and does democracy exist in these countries? And again, coupling that with, after they investigate that, looking at the United States standpoint, do we have democracy here in the United States? So certain things that they might be looking at are literacy rates, if they're looking at the cultural world, or education policy, if they're looking at the social world, trade and trade agreements, if they're looking at the economic world, and what type of government system do they have if they're looking at it through the political world. So we're really trying to deconstruct, what does democracy look like in those four different worldviews.
We got a good interview there with Christian Quintero. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you learned a little bit from that. And also got to sit down with the principal, Felipe Velasquez, and chit-chat about some of the things that we've worked on recently and follow up. Thank you, Felipe, for giving me access to Christian. And before I leave, I'd just like to also thank Rudy Barbie from the LA Chamber, who is always here to help out and always here to help me out as well. And also finally Ed Colacion, who was the founding principal here, and he just opened up a brand new middle school in Koreatown, so we'll be checking in with him some point in the future. Okay folks, don't try this at home, but there it is, the Ritz-Carlton LA, future home of me, condo, here at LA Live and the Staples Center, where your world champion Lakers play and where we will have season tickets someday. All right, go Lakers.